Hi guys, it's me. Welcome. I hope that you're doing very well. So, I am going to be working on this 5x7 canvas, and I'm going to start out by just putting down a layer of collage. I just have a bunch of scraps of just paper hanging around. So, this is book pages and tissue paper and all sorts of stuff. But you could absolutely use Shawn Petite's collage packs, and I think that would be a wonderful way to use them and really get some very interesting papers because those are awesome, those collage packs. So I'm just going to glue it down with some matte medium. So as you know, with matte medium, you put down a layer of the medium, then you put the paper on top. Some people put the glue on the paper. I don't normally do that because I don't mind bubbles. It doesn't have to be perfectly down for me. I love texture, so that's just another layer of texture. And then you seal the whole thing with the matte medium. So you'll see I'm just going to pick kind of some random spots to put down some pieces just to add a little bit of texture and layers, because we're going to be working in a ton of layers here. And I was very much inspired to do this project because I love looking at weathered doors and windows. I like that crackly kind of old weathered look with all the colors and all the layers of paint and how it all cracks and splits and is all interesting. So I'm going to start out with some modeling paste. This is the Deco Arts one, Traditionals, and I am actually spreading it down, and then I'm taking my palette knife and I'm pouncing it around, and that creates kind of this texture that stands up a little bit. So just to add a layer of texture to begin with. And we're really going to be focusing on texture for this project, which I love. I love texture, it's my favorite, so we're going to be building it up more and more. So next I'm going to grab this background word stencil. This is Shawn Petite's stencil, which I'm sure that you recognize, hopefully. I love this stencil, it's great. So I am going to use some words from here, and I'm just taking a little bit of modeling paste and my palette knife, and I'm very gently just pulling it through, and it leaves just these beautiful letters of impressions. Now when you use modeling paste on your stencil, you want to make sure that you clean it off. So you'll see here that I'm spraying it with water, and then I'm actually going to embed some copper foil right into the modeling paste, which is really fun to add more layers of texture, because we're all about the texture right now for this canvas, just like if you look at a weathered door. Now I'm going to use some more modeling paste, and I'm going to run that through this stencil, which is called, sorry, I wrote them down because I never remember what stencils I use, Bouquet of Flowers 1. So I'm going to use these flowers, and I'm kind of going around the edges, but not so much. I'm not overthinking it. And then I'm also going to use something called Crackle Paste, which is really beautiful. It kind of looks like paint that has cracked. And it adds such a beautiful texture. I just love it. And that you do need to let dry just naturally. And then I'm going to add some stamping into some of these areas. It didn't go over well, so I'm just going to clean it off my stamp as soon as I can. Yes, but it's really fun to use these pastes. I love using pastes to add texture, and I love the way that they look through stencils. So now I'm going to use, this is just some dimensional paste. I think it's Della Reese. I believe that's the name, but I'm just going to use that, and that with the doodle flower mask that Shawn Petite makes. So I use that. And then I also added some of my stamped tea bags. So really fun. And I got some pink on there. I don't know how. I'm going to try some magicals. And someone sent these to me, which is so wonderful. So I got to play with them a little bit. And I just apply the powder, and then I'm going to spray the water. And they're just like pigmented powder. And they're so beautiful. And I'm just going to keep playing with them. I picked 3 colors, and I'm going to kind of go back and forth, and they're just colors that you would maybe see on a weathered door. So I just use a rag, I think it's a baby wipe, and I'm just going to keep kind of taking the color back and really pushing it into the grooves. Now with modeling paste, you want to let this dry, so I let this dry for maybe 8 hours before I apply the color, because we're going to add lots of wet medium, so we want to make sure that that everything is nice and dry, so you don't mess up all that beautiful texture that you built. So I'm just gonna keep playing, keep adding color until I get it the way that I want. But I love it. I love how the tea bag got kind of darker and grungier, and just all this gorgeous texture. So I'm going to seal these up because I am notorious for wasting things. So it's better if we seal them, Shami, so you don't waste this gorgeous product. And then I'm going to go in with some metallic watercolors. That's what I'm getting on the side that you can't see. That's how they look. But these are so pretty, and they're gorgeous. And I love to use like acrylic metallic paint, but you can also use metallic watercolors, because why not? And they're so pretty. I just want to pick up some of that texture. That's the prettiest part with modeling paste, is that you can kind of get into those grooves, or you can bring out texture. So I really love it. So I'm using 2 colors of gold from this set, and it's really pretty. It's so wonderful. I love it. Just to kind of bring it out and make it interesting, which is great. Absolutely. So I decided to add a vocal point for this. You don't need to. You could totally just have a beautiful textural canvas. But my friend gave me this book of poems called Leaves of Gold. It's super old. I don't even know when it was made. Maybe in the 60s or the 40s or something. But someone gave it to her, and she knows that I love poetry. So she gave it to me, and I've been, you know, just very, very slowly going through and cutting out the poems that I like. This one is called The Narrow Window. So I thought, since my inspiration was kind of these weathered windows and doors, especially in Italy, I took a ton of pictures of them. I was blessed to be able to go, I don't know, like a few years ago. So I was definitely inspired by that. And I'm just going to add some of that tea bag, used tea bag that I have in my stash all the time. Because I drink a lot of tea, and it makes a really good background for this poem. So I added it. So pretty. So I can kind of think of the inspiration and look at the texture, and it's just going to be a fun little piece to hang on my wall, which is always nice. It's great to have art hanging up, and art that has meaning, right? So I love poetry, and I loved being in Italy and all the beauty and the history there. I think sometimes we throw away old things, but they're so interesting and they're so special. So I'm going to think of that every time I look at this little canvas. So I just put a layer of the medium down, and then I put a strip of the poem down. Now, this is older paper. Like I said, it's old. The paper is old that this is printed on, and it's a little bit discolored, but I love that look. So you might have to glue it down more than once. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. So yes, I'm just going to add that. And it's a very beautiful poem. So you can look it up if you want, or you can look at the blog post, and I'll have a close-up of the poem too, so you can read it there. So really fun project, and I think that that's it for me, guys. Thank you so much for joining me. I think I'm going to add just a little bit of the foil just to kind of finish things up. And that's it. So there's so many things that we love that can inspire us, and texture, and just thinking about my trip to Italy and all the beautiful old things that I got to see there definitely inspired this canvas. So thank you so much for joining me, and I will see you soon. Bye bye.